It is 7:30. I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Greensburg Plan Commission to order. Stand. Recite the pledge of allegiance with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. John, will you call the roll, please?
John Hager, Roy Middendorf,
Here.
Bruce Buckover,
Here.
Lynn Bibby,
Here.
Kevin Fleetwood,
Present.
Nick O'Mara,
Here.
Tom Hunter.
Tom, I know, has had a conflict, and John notified me that he had some medical procedure done today and was not going to be here. You had minutes sent to you in the email as well. There is a copy in front of each of you. Are there corrections or additions to the minutes from our October meeting? Hearing none, I will move that, or accept that they are approved as delivered. Is there a correction? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have a request from the owner of the property in that we had looked at once earlier from Menards. Menards was planning on coming in about
A year ago.
a year ago, yeah. We don't know if that property, or if that project is still in the works or possibly works, but the owner of the property does request that it be changed from I-1 to B3, correct?
Correct. And I told the petitioner, since we had discussed this before, and it seemed pretty well unanimous that the board still approved that to not have to drive over from Cincinnati tonight.
No,
He believes Menards is still interested, and if they do come, they'd like to have it rezoned, because you've still got to pass this on to council. Council's got to have 2 readings,
Mhm.
so it just would speed up the process at
Right.
Menards' desk.
As you see in the map in front of us here, the area that's currently I-1 up in that right-hand side there at the top of the map, where it's yellow, that, and where actually the B2 is for the site where Walmart is, we had that I-1 all the way around, where we made a switch to R4, or I think it's R4, that yellow.
Yes.
Yes.
When you did that a few years ago to put in that retirement home, that broke up the line that was actually coming from the industrial park, swinging around next to the highway. So making this change to more consistent with the property that's on either side of it, business rather than industrial, seems to be prudent to do, or what I would think makes perfect, logical sense anyway. Questions or comments from board members? There's nobody here to specifically answer a question, but Gary probably can make up one.
If you have one.
Yeah.
He still thinks he can get Menards here,
Yeah.
so.
Well, whether it's
just the
Menards or
time.
something else,
Right.
B3 would allow any other kinds of similar sorts of activity like in B2, where the Walmart is, and that sort of commercial, what we're looking at is a commercial site rather than industrial site. And that fits well with the exposure for the commerce, for the interstate and everything else too.
I think it fits better with the residential on the south side of the
Yeah,
street
it
as well.
definitely does. We've got, everybody's nodding okay. Well, gentlemen, and then I think we need a motion to approve this change, or to recommend this change to the city council.
So moved.
Roy's made a motion to recommend a change to the city council. Is there a second?
Second.
Kevin, a second. Thank you. Everybody understand the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We have completed that first task, thank you. And this then can go forward to the council. Doesn't make any difference if it's, I mean, right now,
Right.
it's nobody, really. It's just a matter of making it more consistent and a better use of the property in harmony with the other properties surrounding it. All right, report of status of unsafe buildings.
No, Mr. Atkins did come in. He has gotten a tax sale certificate. He had some confusion with who he purchased it from as to who was actually obtaining the deed for that.
Yeah, we instructed him, one, I did not actually send him a letter because I spoke to him shortly after our meeting. So I just told him and reminded him of his obligation under that. And he indicated to me that his intention was to start cleaning up the property on the outside. He also stated that, as Gary said, he did have some confusion as to who exactly was supposed to be getting the tax deed. I informed him that it would be him because that was who, they signed it over to him, so it's his responsibility to go get it. And he indicated to me that he was going to move forward with doing that. I also informed him that if he needed legal assistance, I could recommend counsel to him to help him do that. I searched the court's online docket as recently as shortly before this meeting, and I have not found an open case with his name associated with it for this tax deal. So that would indicate to me that he has not yet filed that, which is a matter of just petitioning to the court and opening it up and filing it. So I don't know what the status of that is, but that was the last conversation I had with him, was reminding him, one, of his obligations under his agreement with this commission, but also the steps that he needed to take in order to facilitate getting the deed.
Okay.
But I believe he has cleaned up some of the outside.
There has been marked improvement, yes, particularly on the back side of the house where there was considerable overgrowth as well as debris and fallen trees and wood and so forth. Much of that has been picked up, but it's really not quite satisfactory. And Kevin drove by tonight.
There's still 2 trash cans laying in the backyard. There's still some overgrowth that he can clean up, and the front's got some.
And there's still trash on the front porch, several trash cans and just open trash laying there in a box.
I didn't see them laying around last week. They may have blown it down with the storm over the weekend. I don't know.
No, nothing. I was there a week ago, was what I'm reporting on.
Okay.
No, could be storm damage too, but I'm reporting there was no storm damage, and what Kevin's referring to also was there a week
Okay.
ago that he saw tonight.
I
So we
mainly
do
looked
need
at the
to
backyard because that was.
remind him that there's more to be done, it needs to be done in the front porch as well as the back, the trash, all the debris needs to be picked up. And then, just as a good neighbor, you might remind him that if you're calling, that he does need to complete his work on getting the tax deed so that he can do the rest of the work
Right.
in terms of taking the building down. Okay. Anything else on that? Okay, any other items?
The dress factory, that had been boarded up, but I went by it late last week and saw that the kids had pried one of the metal screens open again, and fire department went and pushed that back and secured it up yesterday, I believe. So that one's back secure. We know that the group out of Fort Wayne has filed for the tax credits, not age restricted, for that property, and they will find out by the end of February whether they receive those tax credits. And if they do, then they plan on going forward with purchasing the property and putting I believe it's 29 apartments in there. The other ones that are still open would be the Decatur Hotel and the Y. Those, I've gone through about 90% plans with the architect, and so has Chief Chasteen. They have submitted for all the building permits with the state, and I get updates as they're going through, and the state corresponds back and forth with them, asking for additional information and clarification. So they are moving forward. It's just as soon as they pull those approvals from the state, they'll come in and get their building permit.
Okay. Property has already then been transferred?
I don't believe they'll transfer till they have all the approvals.
Okay. Are there questions from members of the commission? All right. One other item that I wanted to bring to your attention, we may or may not have a meeting next month, so I thought I'd bring it up to your attention. I don't know how you, what you members would think. I'm wondering whether or not we might want to say that we would like to begin our meetings at 7:15 rather than 7:30. Would that be a problem? When you have a long appeals, obviously we would have to delay until that was completed, but in months when there's no appeals or zoning appeals meeting, and in months where the zoning appeals is one item and it's dealt with in a very expeditious manner, 7:15 would allow us to get started and get out a little earlier. Is that agreeable to you all?
I'm fine with that.
I don't know whether we can or can't. I'll have to ask, I don't know that it would be a problem. I'll have to ask city officials if there's a problem with that. 'Cause
I would
haven't
have to
discussed
look
it.
at the notification that we sent.
I'm not talking next month, I'm talking next year.
Oh, next year?
Yeah, not.
It would be
I-
fine as long as we put out the notification.
Yeah,
you
that's
just
what
have to
I
update your
meant.
annual notices.
Yeah, I meant to say next year, not next month, because I brought it up now because we may not have a meeting next month, and I was looking at for next year, so.
Well, so far, nothing has been filed for next month, and it's 30 days in advance of the meeting, so we're beyond that time
Beyond?
frame for them to file, because it will be the 17th,
Oh,
so
okay.
next month, so.
Not likely then.
I haven't had anything filed, so if you guys are fine with an unsafe building report,
Just
on where
as-
we're at by
yeah.
maybe
That'd be
with
worth,
the minutes, then
works.
I'd be happy to do that.
Well, if that's okay with you, I will ask, and maybe the attorney will help me remember to follow up, Gary, that we can make that adjustment for next year for our meetings. Start at 7:15 rather than 7:30, just to allow for, because 15 minutes on the back end is more important to me than 15 minutes before, typically. Not every month is that the case. Okay, are there any other items that, Bruce, anything?
Well, I just wanted to get back to Mr. Atkins. The city has worked, we have worked with him removing his debris. He indicated that he was gonna get some type of machinery or pick up the bigger pieces of wood and, and discard that. I also told him that we only pick up his debris as well as anyone else, and it's determined on when your trash is picked up on that day, which his day is Monday. And since we only worked half a day Monday of last week and half a day Friday due to the holiday. So that this over the weekend, he didn't cut any brush, but the prior week, we might have missed him there. Didn't get it till Tuesday, but it was removed. He had enough time to go back in there and remove some more of it and clean the place up as well. So, we've been trying to work with him. I've talked with him as we're there, caught him there, and let him know what the schedule is, so. He is making an attempt, so.
Yeah,
hopefully he follows through with it.
there's a beginning.
Yeah, hopefully he follows through with it.
There's a
Continues a
beginning.
good process there that we
Yeah, it's good.
hope to happen.
Good. Kevin, anything?
No, sir.
Mr. Roy?
No, sir.
Blake? Mr. Attorney?
No, sir.
Mr. Secretary? Gentlemen,